Good evening. This is Eswatini TV News at 8, read to you by myself, Notile Sitole, alongside Namakabiso Ngambule. First up, let's have a look at our top stories.
The Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade has signed an agreement with Frasium Energy to produce electricity in the country. The Republic of China and Taiwan has donated oxygen concentrators and protective gowns to the Ministry of Health. The Ministry of Natural Resources and Energy encourages the Eswatini to formulate innovative ideas of waste recycling in Eswatini.
And now the news in detail. Government's economic recovery strategy continues to bear fruits as the Ministry of Commerce has signed an agreement with an Australian company, Frasium Energy, to produce electricity in the kingdom. The agreement, which has been signed by the Minister of Commerce, Mangoba Khumalo, and Frasium Director Robert Fraser, will create 100 jobs.
The World Bank has projected that Eswatini's economic growth in 2021 will be 1.3% instead of the previously projected 1.5% of the gross domestic product. With the economy not reaching the expected projection, it will have a much-needed boost from the opening of Australian energy company Frasium Energy. The company is set to invest over 100 million euros in renewable energy. The agreement to have this company operate in the country has been endorsed by Minister of Commerce, Industry and Trade, Mangoba Khumalo, on Friday.
It is a project that is going to use battery storage to store energy and then supply this energy to the grid in the Southern African power pool, and also be able to have a solar farm that will generate electricity locally. They will, over time as well, have a factory that is going to actually produce these batteries. The total investment that they are looking to make over a 5-year period is 100 million euros, which translates to more than 1.5 billion emalangeni. They will start gradually and ramp up to that level of investment over 5 years.
Frasium Energy Chief Executive Officer Robert Fraser says this is a huge milestone for the organization.
We will be installing the largest battery project in Africa when it's commissioned in 2022. The project for phase 1 consists of a 100 megawatt battery and solar. Our battery is large. It will take up the space of 1 hectare. So a 1 hectare battery is massive, co-located with 75,000 solar panels. We will be creating a lot of employment during this period of time as well.
After all formalities, it was then time for the signing of the €1 million agreement. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosima Vimbela, Babane.
The Minister for Health has received 100 oxygen concentrators and 5,000 protective gowns from the Republic of China and Taiwan. The consignment was handed over to the Minister by the Ambassador Jeremy Liang.
The Republic of China and Taiwan continue to prove to all and sundry that indeed they are a true friend of the Kingdom of Eswatini since bilateral relations were established 53 years ago. On Friday, the Ambassador Jeremy Liang handed over to the Minister for Health, Lizingosi, a consortium to fight and assist patients with COVID-19 in the Kingdom.
I'm absolutely delighted to have so many friends with us today for the donation of 100 oxygen concentrators and 5,000 pieces of protective gowns. These essential medical items are given with love by the people and the government of Taiwan. We believe they will help save lives, further strengthen the Kingdom of Eswatini's response to COVID-19.
Indlela yetempilo ithi nanomalive liqinisa tinhlelo tekugoma kepha kasekhona eMaswati labanjwa ngilomkhuhlane agcina ke sekagula kakhulu afike esigabeni lapho angasakhona khona ukuthi phefumulela isimishina yaloluhlobo isidingo lesikhulu eSwatini kulesikhathi seCovid-19. The Minister Lizingosi appreciated the gesture from Taiwan.
Le mishina le yenda ukuthi kube lula ukuthi lowo muntu logulako lo ngabe laba ku COVID nje lapho sekhanza oxygen semncane khona lo mshini ukhona kubekwa eceleni kwakhe afakwe leso sifonyo akhona ukudonsa oxygen aphinze futhi afakele nangabe udzinga ukuthi kube mandana kungabi kungomi kakhulu lapha akhona khona libe le Taiwan liphinze futhi lisiniketa nabo kwembatha kokuvikela isebenti empilo njoba tisebela bebasolo basiniketa nakuloso ngagcoka ukulahle lokho mina kuloso ngagcoka ukwasha uphinze ukusebenzise lekusho ukuthi kutawusita kulabo laba na COVID kwanyalo lapho sibanakela ngakhona uphinze kusite nje dibhedlela tonke lapho sisebenza ngakhona.
The minister applauded Taiwan for inventing a COVID-19 vaccine. The vaccine has been used by countries like New Zealand. She says the Kingdom of Eswatini will soon get a consignment from Taiwan so that Emaswati can be vaccinated against COVID-19. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Lincoln Kule in Babane.
The Minister of Natural Resources and Energy, Peter Pembe, encourages the people of Eswatini and especially young people to speedily come up with innovative ways of recycling all forms of waste in Eswatini as pollution is posing a huge challenge to the country's surface water sources. The Minister was speaking at the Royal Villa during a Nedbank Earthwise conference on protecting surface water sources hosted in collaboration with WaterAid.
Eswatini is faced with the insurmountable challenge of pollution of the country's surface water resources as the waste that is indiscriminately littered on rivers, streams and wetlands continues to contaminate the very same water which is also used for consumption purposes. It is against this backdrop that the Nedbank Earthwise team partnered with WaterAid to host a surface water conference to address this problem. The Minister of Natural Resources and Energy, Peter Pembe, says the pollution problem needs speedy interventions.
We observe the increased infestation of our surface water systems by these pollutants. I believe you'll agree with me that this problem is gaining momentum as more and more babies are born.
WaterAid Eswatini Country Director Ncamiso Mhlanga explains how exactly disposable nappies are negatively impacting the country's environment.
The estimated number of people or children that when you look into the 2017 census, it indicated that we have about 65,000 kids under the 2 years, which then means each child uses about 3 disposable nappies per day, and that 65,000 times 3, it will give you around 195,000 nappies per day. Then times 30 days, that gives you a figure above 5 million.
During the conference, the managing executive of Nedbank Africa, Dr. Terence Sibiya, pledged that the bank could spend as much as 30 million rands on projects promoting a green economy. Earthwise chairperson Ayanda Dube challenges Eswatini's youth to embrace such funding opportunities. Conference delegates unanimously agreed that most waterborne diseases in Eswatini can be easily prevented by ensuring clean water supply. For Eswatini TV News, Hlengiwe Ndlovu with Mbongwa Dube at Ezulwini.
The Minister of Public Service, Mabulala Masego, says it is encouraging to see that most of the businesses where the Public Service Pension Fund has invested in hire more Emaswati. Speaking during a tour of Tongwane Farm in Babane, where there is a forestry business, the Minister says this shows the fund's commitment to creating job opportunities for Emaswati.
The Minister of Public Service, Mabulala Masego, has visited business investments by the Public Service Pension Fund, one of which is the forestry company at Tongwane Farm. The Minister says he wants to fully understand how these businesses operate since the fund falls under his portfolio. He says it is only in this way that he can speak about the businesses from an informed perspective. The minister continues to say it is quite exciting and encouraging to see that most of these businesses hire a Maswati, with the Tonkwane company training a Maswati in forestry. He says this will secure concrete jobs.
Sihamba siyabuka nje lokuthi ngebe kuqhubeka kanjani nalokubakhuthaza nasihamba lokuthi awabaqhubeke phela abasebenze bathi lokuthi lapha kusetshentelwa sive sebenzele emakhosi ngoba konke kwemakhosi sebenzela wona ukuthi kuqhubeke kahle kukhuthaza nje nokuthi sathi vele ukuthi kwenteka nanami khona nangabe sengibutwa eParliament ngito ukukhuluma ngento lengiyatiko ngingenofanekisa sengiyabona nanami awu sengidawuqhaza kuvakale eParliament ngichaze kuvakale siveni ngichaze kuvakale nasekusebenzini tahulumende kungaba nje kubonga nje iPSPF lesebenta itinto ingatifihli lokungithothi sileke ukuthi la kuqashwe eMaswati leti nombolo tsetulu lokusho ukuthi nje iyouth lenenge iyasebenta la khaya futhi ke sekuvulwe nesikolo lapho khona sebafundiswa nangeforestry khona lokusho ukuthi la Maswati kufundiswa wona aniko lelikhono lokubuka lamahlathi ngobe kufanele ube ngumsebenzi lesitawenda thina seMaswati singarely kakhulu kubantu bekuhamba ku-empowerishe eMaswati siphile silive.
The minister says the Public Service Pensions Fund is committed to investing in profitable businesses to grow its finances and in turn help eMaswati. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Dlangamandla with Vuminko Sinzinisa, Babane.
Immigrants in Eswatini are 11,861, and 60.3% of this number are those looking for employment. This is contained in the 2021 Labour Migration Statistics, which was launched by the Ministry of Labour and Social Security's Principal Secretary Thulan Mkhaliphi.
The Minister of Labour and Social Security Principal Secretary Thulan Mkhaliphi says it is the country's wish to timeously disseminate labour migration statistics so the statistics could not be overtaken by events.
With labour migration, it is a reality, it is a permanent feature in the employment space. So it is then therefore very important that we know the dynamics and how it presents itself in that particular economy so that we know how we could probably manage and intervene. I have said, colleagues, in other forums that if I were to do things my way, I would actually stop everything for a while, and we go back to basics. And the basics are what? Addressing issues of information asymmetry.
The Minister of Labour and Social Security National Employment Statistics Unit Head Thandi Dlamini elaborate on the immigrants.
In all the ages, we can see that 11,861 have left the country. Those are our immigrants, of which 7,184 are males and 4,677 are females. Looking at them by ages, we can see that the age 20 to 24, there are 3,348 immigrants who left, where 1,698 were males and 1,650 were females. Looking at the ages 40 to 44, there are only males there who left, who are 288, there are no females. Looking at the ages 45 to 49 again, only males left, 868 males left, and there are no females. Okay.
The 2021 labour migration statistics key findings indicate that unemployment rate in the country is at 20.5%, while migrants in the country are 2.3%. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Ezulwini.
Principal Secretary in the Ministry of ICT, Maxwell Masuku, encourages the Eswatini Post and Telecommunications to explore the many business opportunities that come with the proliferation of digital communications and the rise of e-commerce. The Principal Secretary was speaking during the commemoration of World Post Day at the Happy Valley Hotel. The event was hosted by the Eswatini Communications Commission.
World Post Day is commemorated every year on the 9th of October. This year, this day is being commemorated under the theme, Innovate to Recover, which encourages postal companies globally to come up with innovative ways to keep up with the times. Principal Secretary in the Ministry of ICT, Maxwell Masuku, encourages the Eswatini Post and Telecommunications Corporation to leverage on new technologies to remain relevant and ensure the sustainability of the postal network in Eswatini.
Government is committed and open to supporting the development of the postal sector, especially in this digital age. We are encouraged by the Abidjan Postal Strategy for 2021 to 2025. The strategy is encouraging our government to reduce gaps in postal development by utilizing the postal network for socio-economic development.
The Chief Executive of Eswatini Communications Commission, Mvilawe Dlamini, also shared similar sentiments.
This year's theme is Innovate to Recover, which aims to highlight that despite being adversely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, the postal sector developed new innovative ideas and methods to continue providing postal services to its customers.
Meanwhile, EPTC's head of postal services, Mbongiseni Ngambule, gave an assurance that the COVID-19 pandemic had propelled the corporation to introduce innovative alternatives of doing business.
As people couldn't cross the border to make their purchases or go to town, they opted for online shopping.
During the commemoration, a letter writing competition which encourages young people to share their COVID-19 experiences was also launched. For Eswatini TV News, Hlengiwe Ndlovu with Mbongwa Dube at Ezulwini.
Government has provisionally awarded 3,600 students with scholarships out of 4,001 students who applied. This was revealed by the Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Labour and Social Security during a press briefing.
This year, students who applied for government scholarship did not appear before the Scholarship Selection Board, but they were selected using a system. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security Principal Secretary Thulani Mkhalipi says students who have been provisionally awarded scholarships this year will have to get police clearance.
Students who have applied for scholarships and are keen to know if they have been awarded provisionally, though at this time the scholarships can go to their respective institutions and check on that, and if they are in the list then they can go ahead and register. I'd want to emphasize at this point that the award are still provisional. The ministry is still yet to undertake or subject each one of the certificates, the high school living certificates, into a verification process, and whether those certificates are local or international, it doesn't really matter. We still subject all of them to a verification. Each one of the students, before they register in their respective institutions, they must drop in an email to the Ministry of Labour indicating that that student consents to the conditions of the provisional study loan award, and the email address will be provided at each of the registration points in the institutions. And the student must ensure that he or she receives a response from us saying the awardee is verified and is in the list.
Mkhalipi says the ministry wishes that before tertiaries open, all students will have known if they have been awarded scholarships or not. He added that they will have also received their personal allowances before classes start. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Mbabane.
The Small Enterprises Development Company, SEDCO, has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Federation of Eswatini Business Community. Speaking during the signing ceremony at the company's headquarters in Mbabane, the Chief Executive Officer, Kethuwe Mhlanga, says the agreement will give a clear direction of how FESBIC members will benefit from SEDCO and from the Business Incubation for African Women Entrepreneurs project.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Small Enterprises Development Company, Kethuwe Mhlanga, says the memorandum of agreement they signed with the Federation of Eswatini Business Community will help in growing small businesses.
It's important to have strategies that speaks to economic recovery, which speaks to business continuity, and what we're here to do today will contribute towards that. This will ensure that we have success in the future in order to create more jobs and also to just increase and have growth within our economy. It is a responsibility of both our organizations to ensure that we are being efficient in terms of our resources that we have. We know they are limited, but we can maximize through collaboration, through coordinated approaches with our work. And with that, we foresee our SMEs thriving. This memorandum of understanding, it entails SEDCO's commitment to provide business with development services and to assist with incubation facilities to enterprises operated by members of the Federation.
The president of the Federation of Eswatini Business Community, Tam Dupont, says the agreement came at the right time.
The SEDCO structures which are spread around the country, we felt were not being utilized to the fullest for the benefit of SMEs. So by sealing this collaboration MOU today, it's actually a milestone for us.
SEDCO is supporting different businesses under the Business Incubation for African Women Entrepreneurs project. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Dlangamandla with Vuminkosi Nzinisa, Mbabane.
And now we'll have a look at our financial markets.
Bank. It can be.
Good evening once again. You are still watching Eswatini TV. Let's have a look at our sports news. Mbabane Highlanders head coach Ernest Mavuso says the extension of the start of the Premier League has given them more time to prepare for the new season. Mavuso was speaking after his team had returned from a training camp in South Africa.
The Premier League has announced that the new season will now start in 2 weeks' time after they were not able to finalize all needed logistics. Mbabane Highlanders head coach Ernest Mavuso says as a team they are very grateful for that, as it means more time to prepare, and that their trip to South Africa has been an eye-opener as they now know exactly what to fix.
Mbabane Highlanders had a training camp in Pretoria. This camp was organized by Director Chief Ali Homongo. It was an eye-opener in many aspects of the game. But to sum it all, this camp helped us to identify and to work on the weaknesses that were glaring in the team. But to sum it all, it was a very fruitful camp. It helped us a lot. One may extend our gratitudes again to PLA for the extension of the kickoff. We appreciate the 5 days that they have afforded us. They will help us a great deal in working on the preparations as we are moving towards our first kickoff of the season.
Mavuso says this season they want to win at least one trophy to make the faithful and loyal Bafana Highlanders fans happy. Reporting for Eswatini TV Sports News, I am Patizo Msebi with Linda Dlamini. Babane.
First Division side Manzini Citizen goalkeeper Sandile Dlamini says he is in no rush to move to the Premier League just now. He says his main focus is to help his team get promotion to the Elite League in season 2022-2023.
It is every player's dream to compete at the highest level possible, as it comes with different opportunities, including playing for the national team. This is different though from Bafana Citizens goalkeeper Sandile Dlamini, who's still competing in the first division. His dream, just like everyone else, is to compete in the Premier League. But like he did before, he says he wants to do it with his current team, Bafana Citizen. Dlamini says he has received offers, but his heart is to stay with Citizen and promote them to the Premier League.
But kwanyalo ngifisela ukuba ne-Citizen ngikhona ukuyipromothisa sifika Premier League. I-pressure isengekho ne-rush ngisengajaka ngako, but ngizabona safuna ngeta experience nginenconywana ngize ngifike kulesigaba lezi ngifuna ngifika khona na ngifike Premier League.
Dlamini says his ultimate dream is to play for the national team and also compete in CAF competition, as he believes he's still very developing well. Reporting for Eswatini TV Sports News, I am Patizo Msebi with Linda Dlamini Zulweni.
That's all for now. Before we conclude, let's have a look at our top stories. The Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade has signed an agreement with Frasium Energy to produce electricity in the country. The Republic of China and Taiwan has donated oxygen concentrators and protective gowns to the Ministry of Health. The Ministry of Natural Resources and Energy encourages the Maswati to formulate innovative ideas of waste recycling in Eswatini. And with that, we sum up our bulletin for the evening. Up next is the weather update from myself and the team. Thank you for your company. Good night.